me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
All right, so let me say welcome to our guests, and they can just raise their hand, just like I would do in school, to let everybody know they're here. I see Craig Sullivan. Raise your hand, Craig. Thank you, sir. Harry Evans, where you at, Harry? There he is. Shannette, is that how you say your name, Shannette? Shannette Merrick? Did I say it right? Okay, because when you take roll the first day, you say the kid's name wrong, he'd be correcting you. So I can be correct, okay? Is it Diya or Diya Jackson?
Diya Jackson.
It's Diya. All right. See, that's why you do that, All right. Drew Jackson. Drew here? Drew's not here?
Yes, he is.
It's Drew Jenkins.
Drew
Jenkins. Jenkins, that's right. Craig sent me Jackson first, and I forgot to change it. Praise the Lord. Okay. Drew Jenkins. Thank you. Malik Rogers. Malik here?
No.
Okay, getting on the horn. Corey Monroe.
No. Present. They still say present in class.
There he is.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I had to do when I was on the police commission. Present. Okay. Derek Butler.
Here, present.
All right, and Mike Tapman. Is that the way you say it, Mike Tapman? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, all of you, for joining us for this. I'm really looking forward to this. Profiling an anchor institution in the community. Never done it. Been on the radio a long time. Been on the show a long time, but I've never done this. Let me tell folks how this came about. This is really the fault of Craig and Harry, who they have created a platform, and I think I would describe it as, and they can describe it as we move forward, of taking the barbershop to the Zoom. I'll put it like that. And just I'm gonna let them describe what it is, but I've been popping on, and it's great. And each week brothers get together and Craig throws out something and off we go. And I'm gonna get to that later. But as the time I've been on and listened to the brothers go back and forth and talk about different issues in their lives and talk about the topics, this all grew out of the barbershop, right? Because Craig's a barber. And I said, well, before we even get to, and I really wanted to profile a good life, put it out there, but I said, let's go back to the beginning. Let's just talk about the barbershop as an institution in the Black community. Its meaning, its historical purpose, its continuing, just being a place where brothers are and can chop it up for all kinds of reasons. So I want to start there. So how many barbers? Craig, you're a barber. We got any other barbers on the call in here?
Yeah, Diya Jackson.
Diya, you're okay. Diya, you're a barber. Okay, so I'll come. So let me just say the one I've known the longest on this and is Craig. Known him since he was a very young man. And of course I know Corey too, but Craig in this case, I'm talking about pretty much his whole family. Sent Craig off to Dillard. Remember we went off to Dillard back then. Know his brother Brian. Sent his sister to Clark.
Clark, yeah.
Clark and Kenita Sullivan. I haven't seen Kenita in years, so she better come out here. Let me see her, right?
She's still out there.
Some people go in and they stay.
Right.
And then of course know your mama.
That's right.
Your mama used to sit up at the neighborhood house, and boy, we'd be arguing about know your mother, love your family. I remember seeing her at church one time, St. Paul's, and I walked in and she said, Joe Marshall. we started at church.
Oh yeah, she gonna get you.
So man, let me just say, first of all, knowing you from when you were a young man, number one, you're alive and free. That's the goal, right? That's the goal. And then to see you grow and mature and do what you have done with your life, and we won't have to get into all those details, but what your life has just been, that's what, Omega Boys Club has existed for. And very, very proud of you, very, very proud of you. But I don't know, we're gonna start here. So everybody allow me to guide this discussion. We got a little time here. When did you make the decision to become a barber? I didn't know, I knew you were, when and how long you had your shop, and how did you get into that?
I went to the barbershop and film on my I think my father or my grandfather took me over on the Visadero McAllister. And I sat in there, and it was just the interaction the barber had with the people that came in. They had the horse races on one TV. The dudes was back there betting, and he was cutting somebody, and somebody came in and said something to him, and he just had master command of everything he was doing. And I just really was attracted to it. So I started cutting when I was about 12 or 13. And it was just something I did because I was always in the house on punishment. So I learned how to, I found something to do. And, after I went to college and figured out I could cut hair to make a few dollars, I decided to make it a career,
And when did you open your shop, and how long have you been with that?
Well, my shop that I own my shop maybe 3 years tops on 3rd Street, Shaves and Fades. I got it from my guy who moved on to LA. And the shop I'm in now is owned by Malik Rogers, if he gets on. But I've been over there for 8 years. And I can say that was a blessing. Sometimes, when you don't move your feet, the Lord will do it for you. And I didn't know if I was gonna ever get off 3rd Street. I was just, that kind of dude. I had a lot of love over there, even though I was coming to a valley, the Lord showed me where peak was, and he sent me across town to Lakeview, and it's been all good ever since. So, I'm really with a good group of fellas, you know what I mean? So that's what it's about. When your career is fun, it's not work. It's just fun.
And tell everybody the name of the shop.
Taylor Cuts over on Plymouth and Holloway, 249 Holloway.
In the city.
Yeah.
Let's go to the other barber. Who that is? Is it Drew or Drew? Who's the other barber?
Diya.
Diya. All right, Diya. Nice to meet you. And tell us your barber story. When did you become a barber? Why did you decide to become a barber? Just sort of what same thing Craig did.
Yeah, good to be on. Good to meet you again. I actually came over and did a workshop with you a few years ago. So we met over there a while back, and just a quick little with Craig. I heard he mentioned. Excuse me, I'm plugging in this charger. I heard he mentioned something about Lakeview. I always thought we were in Ingleside district. That's what I was told. So I thought it was Lakeview, and I was corrected, and I was told Ingleside. You know, we're on the other side of the hill, so I don't know. Yeah, but born and raised in the city, similar to Craig. I started about 12, 13 years old. I used to go to Fred up top of Third. My mom would drop me off there, and similar experience to Craig, sitting there, and I see the guys come in. And one day, I just didn't like the way he was cutting my hair. I'm 12, 13 years old, and I asked my mom to go to Walgreens and buy me a pair of clippers. I think she spent like $30 on the clippers. She brought them home, and I jacked my head up for a couple weeks, and got the hang of it. Started cutting my cousins and classmates, and before I knew it, I was charging $5 a cut. You know, this was 92. That was some good money for a kid, you know, in the beanery line. So I ain't looked back since. That was 30 years ago, and it's been paying the bills ever since.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I think we can take something from everybody now. Let's jump in and other than getting your hair cut, what is, in your words, what's the value of the barbershop? What is it? What is it? I think I know they made 3 movies about it, about the barbershop, but anybody can jump in and talk about their experience at the barbershop, what it is, why you go, why is it an anchor institution in the community? Look, we're on live TV. This is live.
Yeah,
so
I'll jump in then. Let's do it. Thank you so much, Dr. Marshall, for the invite. For me, as a woman, you know, I see the barbershop as a space for men to convene safely and talk about things along with being groomed so they can go out into the world and look nice and present very well. But they also have created this space of healing and conversation that feels very safe to them, where the outside world does not feel as safe to Black men.
we'll see if that's actually true.
Let's see. Let's get the Jeopardy music going now.
So from my experience as a barber, and even before I was a barber, just as sitting in the barbershop getting my hair cut, this is where you're gonna get all the neighborhood information. You're gonna hear who doing what, who ain't cool, who good, you know, who family did this. You know, you're gonna get all the stuff. You know what I mean? Then you can get the truth. You know, some dudes gonna be lying and they gonna bust you out. Like, nah, you know, they gonna make you keep it real. So I think the barbershop is one of the last institutions of the neighborhood, of the community, that dudes can come and just keep it real, be them. You know, you're gonna get all the neighborhood gossip, you're gonna get the neighborhood good news, who graduated, who, you know what I mean, all the stuff, you know. So I think the barbershop is, you know, that's where you're going, that's your book, that's your magazine.
All right, everybody else jump in now.
Hey, Dr. Marshall, this is Derek. Hey.
By the way, when I told people about the show, they'd be like, oh man, that's great. Can I get on? That's what happened with Derek. I saw Derek last night. You and asked me. So go,
absolutely. Brother. Thanks for having me on, Dr. Marshall. And it's, you know, like I told you last night, my mom was a barber. So I was a young kid growing up in a barbershop. She was dealing with a bunch of, the only woman in the barbershop, having to be strong, having to speak up, having to defend herself multiple times when there was 5 other chairs and she was the only woman. And I saw that when I was there, because the barbershop was the babysitter. Literally, I would be there after school every day as my mom was in the chair cutting hair. And then when I became a teenager, and I wanted to go to a different place because my mom was at the barbershop on the corner, then the things that I was struggling with as a teenager, my dad wasn't around. So I would actually bring it to the barbershop. I would get multiple views, multiple opinions, things that I was dealing with that I couldn't talk to my mom, even the direction that I wanted to go that might not be a good direction to go. I would hear the truth right there in the barbershop.
Thank you. Michael, your turn. I see you
Yes,
left. Go
sir.
for it.
I'm ready. How you doing? Thank you for inviting me, Dr. Marshall. To me, the barbershop is like a village. You know, it's like where everybody can keep each other in check, hold each other accountable. You know, in the black neighborhood, we call it the village, and you know, it come from the grandmother. You know, of keeping everybody in check, keeping the family together. In a barbershop is like it's one of those things, like a big brother thing. It's like a fraternity. You go in there, you gonna know these people for years. You're gonna be connected with them from years as they evolve and you evolve. Y'all always gonna be connected, and it lead to situations like we hear right now. So that's the power of the barbershop, indeed.
Thank you. Drew, your turn.
Yeah, I believe that you know, it is a very strong place for black males to go to, because that's one of the last places where you'll see a black father taking a son.
That's true.
And they're together and they're actually happy. And when you have that, and you see the kid actually being able to call other men, oh, that's my uncle, and they're walking in the street, and they say, oh, that's my uncle, that's my barber, that's my daddy barber. You don't hear a lot of things like that. So then you gotta also just appreciate that. Then the kids are also meeting other kids where they are able to not say, I know this kid from that neighborhood. I know that kid from the barbershop and his being with his daddy when I was getting my hair cut. It's a generational thing that when you hand something down to that, the kids take their little brothers. You see, they take their little cousin. This is where I go. You go get your hair cut every Saturday here? Oh, yeah. I'm going to get my hair cut by Craig. You going to get your hair cut? Can we walk together? Mama, can we also walk together? You get conversations like that. So it's like a strong family where you start building stuff, and that's a core for the community.
Wonderful description. All right, Corey Monroe.
And barbershop will tell you, you blind, you need to get some glasses, brother. Your health, man, and check your blood pressure and all that, man. If you're breathing wrong, they're gonna tell you something wrong with you. It's just a real place. And man, I really miss Craig Shop Shades of Face, because man, you can hear them brothers around the corner, man. It's just exciting, man. And during my dad time, he used to get cut on 30. He cut an extra hour out from being home for my mom and me. He'd go to the barbershop and hang out.
Let's go. Harry, thank you for joining us so much, all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So you a couple hours ahead. So we're going to give you a lot of love for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I would definitely like to start by saying I'm appreciative of, you know, the whole group, but just recently, Dr. Marshall, I feel like we've started to develop a little bit more of a one-on-one relationship, just me picking his brain on being an activist and just speaking for our Black men in the community. And just to speak to what the barbershop means to me, I mean, just to start, I grew up on the barbershop. You know, my father introduced me to the barbershop at probably 3 or 4 years old, and it became a routine, an every week routine. I seen him sit down in the chair and take care of himself, and so that was something that I feel like I needed right away, to the point when he wasn't in the home, or you know, when I got older, I should say, that was something that I carried on for myself. And then to also just, you know, meet other people that experience different angles of life than you do, so you can see a fuller picture as it comes to the community. That was that has been a big thing for me. At this point, I'm all out of haircuts. So but
I understand that, brother.
But I still go to the shop, you know, to take care of myself, maybe every other week or once a month, to get that reset, but also not just a reset for, you know, for my physical upkeep, but a reset in just fellowship. I think it's the basis of fellowship for the Black community outside of the church. And then, like I said, you know, I experienced a lot of milestones there because it taught me also loyalty to that barber. It was, you know, a friendship, a mentorship, and all of that. I trusted him with how you know, with my appearance. And, you know, when you spend that personal time in the chair, rapport gets built, and you can, you know, you find yourself kind of sharing things that are beyond just grassroots or base level information. So, you know, that's what I would say. You know, it's definitely a staple in the community beyond the church.
Of course, I went to the barbershop, and I thought the barbershop was the craziest place in the world. Man, you go in there, and them brothers be like, I mean, it was just fascinating. The barbershop was just fascinating to me. All the characters, all these characters come in, the talk, the lingo, this, the that. It's truly, and I'm sure the beauty salon is the same way, right? You know, but it's just like a world unto its own. And, you know, it probably is maybe the only place, you know, where brothers gather like that from all walks of life. I mean, can we say that? You know, you got your drug dealers,
Absolutely.
you got everybody in there because everybody got to get their cut, right? And it was just always a fascinating a place to me. And I love all your descriptions. A couple of other things I want to ask you about that, but Lady E, I think you've been to the barbershop. Is that correct? Have you ever been to the barbershop? You ever get your haircut? I don't know. Maybe you haven't. I thought you said that, but you got to.
Oh, yes. I've been to the barbershop.
Well, then you got to chime in.
I spent a whole lot of time in the barbershop, but I would go to get my hair done because one of the barbers did my hair. Wait a minute. Yeah, see, you didn't know that part. See, of course, my son, but I'm talking personally. You see, I wanted to hear more from Shannette and her experience, but since I've got the mic, let me just say, there was a barber. I grew up in Kansas City, and as a young woman, I was at the barber, and Barber Harry did my hair. That brother had some hands. My hair, listen, this is how this is how I was brought up. If a man works on your hair, your head, your hair is gonna grow. He massaged and worked on my hair. Baby, and my hair was so long and full. I mean, and he would shampoo, massage it, blow it out, really. And then curl it. I walked out of there looking gorgeous. And my hair just grew like crazy. But that was a place, you know, first of all, it was just packed with men all the time. And the men were just wonderful. It was like the safest place where a bunch of Black men would be, and I could go in there and I was okay. I didn't have to wonder. I didn't have to worry. They talked more crap, but I laughed loud. I laughed loud and I enjoyed myself. I did not miss a session at the barbershop on 27th Street in Kansas City. Look, I walk out there shaking my hair. I mean, man, and it was just a highlight of my every 2 weeks. It was just a highlight to be with men who were safe, fun, funny, brilliant. You know how we decide who people are. No, them brothers, those brothers were just unbelievable. So see, I'm gonna have to walk into Craig's shop. I'm gonna have to go back and have a moment. You know, just because see, I know what they do. First, they check you out. Who you here for? I'm here for something. Anyway, so I just love it. It is one of the best and safest places to be in the barbershop. Those brothers gonna look after you. They're gonna take care of you. And when you walk out of there, you better than you were when you walked in. And that's my feeling about the barbershop.
Wonderful. So, jump in.
Man, so many reasons I love the barbershop. I think of going with my father when I was a little kid, you know, and we had moved out to Concord, so there wasn't a lot of us. So I just remember going, we used to go to JD's and on Railroad in Pittsburgh, or sometimes we come out to a place in Oakland on Shattuck. And it's funny, when I drive by these places now, I still remember, but I just remembered it was the blackest place I could ever imagine was the barbershop. I mean, it was just, it was so black. It was beyond, it was blue black. It was just, that's what I remember. You know, I was like, "Ooh, you like, we going to Pittsburgh, we're going to the barbershop." I'm like, okay, so we go to Vallejo or something, you know, and it was just blackness Mecca. And then the characters, of course, you know, all brothers, all men. So it was the first time as a kid I had been around all men. So, you know, a good looking woman walk by or something, you know, who look very nice, you know, all the older men. Oh, if I was a little bit younger, brother, I'm gonna tell you right now, you know, you get that kind of banter, right? You know, and you just, then, you know, talking about white people, like I'd never heard no, you just a statement, you know how white people be. Oh yeah, I do know that. I didn't, y'all know that too, you know, so it was just, it was like this, but it wasn't in mean spirited. It was just like a place where we could express ourselves freely without judgment. You know, it wasn't like we was going after folks. It was like our reality, and we got to talk, and we didn't have to qualify or quantify anything. It was like everyone was gonna understand. And then, like you said, you had all the different styles of brothers. You had the professional, you had the OG, you had the square, you had the thug. I mean, come on now, you had, because everybody need, you know. And then lastly, there was a time when you know, I stopped going to the barbershop for years because I was wearing dreads or I was doing the natural look. So when I went back, you know, you walk in and they'll know right away. I remember I walked in after a couple of years and he was like, "Oh, you've been rocking that homeless look, huh?" I was like, "Oh, why you gotta do me like that?" Come on. You know, so, but that feeling when you come with the lineup, you got a date that night, and you come out fresh as I don't know what, ain't no better feeling than that. You come out the barbershop, everything is just,
you be smelling good, you get that stuff. Oh man.
And let me see it. Women see you fresh out the barbershop, you a whole different man.
That's
Only
right.
problem is you got to go back a
Like,
week later because you
"Ooh,
done
brother,
grew it out. But
pretty. Oh my goodness, you've been to the barber. Look at you. Oh my goodness."
I do.
You just want to say it to all of them.
Knowing that I was at the barbershop, I was in the chair a few hours ago, waiting for this moment right now. But yeah, it's just a special place. And I got an education in there.
I'm gonna make a statement. It might sound a little bit bold, but to my two barbers, Drew and Craig specifically, you know, we didn't use words. Now the term is mental health, and the term before it was self-care, and we definitely never use the word therapist. But if I was gonna put, I'd probably put maybe bartenders and trainers, if you got a trainer, you know, and barbers in that category. And Craig and you just talk about you being a barber and the conversations you would have, the different conversations you would have. First of all, is that semi-accurate, or is that too much of a statement and putting it that you were, you know, like you were a therapist? I'm mute, Craig.
Yeah, no, you are spot on. You know, often it's more than a haircut we give. We actually give a therapy session, you know what I mean? Or just not even a therapy session, we give that moment of time for that person to digress. That 35, 40-minute haircut, you know, can take years off somebody's life, you know, just by being able to talk to somebody who's, you know, not judgmental on their situation. You know, just go ahead and speak, brother. You know what I mean? Go ahead and let it out. So yeah, you hit it spot on for me. And a lot of times I look forward to it. That's why I like what we're doing. You know what I mean? I look forward to being some kind of peace for some kind of person that needs it. You know what I mean? At any moment, every day. For me, it's a good feeling.
Diya, what about you? You see there?
You may have stepped away.
Okay.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's interesting listening to all you guys speak about your time in the shop, you know, coming from a, you know, mainly a client perspective. And it's I would say it's a blessing for the actual barber, or it can be a blessing, depending on how you look at it. I don't think all shops are created the same. You know, I've in my career, I've gone and you know, some of you guys can probably I've only been to maybe 1 or 2 shops as a client in my life. You know, I'm in my early mid 40s. So every experience I've had as an adult in the shop has been behind the chair. So it's a slightly different perspective. It definitely is healthy if you're in the right environment, because that environment will check and reinforce things that you're dealing with. And the same can be true as a client, but a lot of times we go more in depth, you know, because we'll carry a conversation from say 8 in the morning till closing time, you know, and we'll get different people come in, and we'll rehash that conversation, and it might speak to something that you're dealing with in your own personal life, you know, and in an environment that we're in with a lot of outspoken, responsible, mature brothers, you know, you're gonna get the check-in that you need at that time, you know, if you're open to it.
Yeah.
You know, and you wouldn't believe, like I said, my career spans 30 years now, and you wouldn't believe some of the things that people are comfortable with sharing with you, you know, and a lot of times it'll be they're waiting for this exact setting to share it because there's nowhere else to share it, you know, whether it's something with their spouse, you know, with their kids, family members, business, whatever the case may be, you know, because like somebody just mentioned, everybody grows hair. I don't care what walk of life you're in, you grow hair or have grown hair at one point in your life. And you get all those different walks of life, you know, and you never know by appearance what people are dealing with, what people have dealt with, what their background is. And if you come in with an open mind, a lot of times you'll leave with richer, you know, than you were when you came in. And that's something I appreciate. And I think I mentioned that the other day at the shop with Craig. I'm not sure where I would be in my development, in my maturity, without that environment. So I'm really
that's a powerful statement.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative, because you know, sometimes you get caught up in your own little bubble, you know, smelling your own fragrance and thinking everything you thinking about is right, you know, and you might get 1 or 2 glimpses of some different perspectives. But in the barbershop on a weekly basis, you're getting hundreds of people coming through with hundreds of different perspectives, you know, and I dare you, I dare you to try to come specifically to the shop where we're at. I dare you to come in there upset and still leave upset. It's not gonna happen.
Wow.
It's not gonna happen. If you open yourself up, it's not gonna happen.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because men, we're always told, and rightfully so, that we don't want to talk, right? That we don't want to talk about what's going on with us. That don't happen in the barbershop. I don't know who
Well,
you walk through.
Well, the thing with that is it's not so much we don't want to talk. In my experience, we want to be heard. And you don't want to waste your time talking if you're not heard. So a lot of times what we'll do, we'll just keep it. Nobody care. I'll deal with it myself. You know, and in a shop, a lot of times that doesn't happen, you know, because we're so closely knit, you know, the barbers, and then we're the same with our clients. So Craig might have a client that I might not necessarily know personally, right? But the conversation is a group conversation. You know, it's a public conversation.
It is.
So,
it is.
And it might open the door for somebody that has experience in that or is dealing with that. Or I'll give you a prime example. We were in there, this was about a month ago. And this is the first time in my 30-year career this has happened. We were having a conversation, and a brother, and I don't even think I was cutting anybody, or I had just finished cutting somebody. And the brother got up out of Malik's chair across the shop, and he walked up to me, and the conversation was still happening amongst the barbers aside. He came up and he said, man, I really respect you. I don't know this brother's name. I saw him before in the shop over, you know, but I've never talked to him, never had a conversation. He said, I really respect you, man. And he kind of had tears in his eyes, you know?
Wow.
And he kind of like stepped towards me, like to embrace me, like give me a hug, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't know what this is, but let me, you know, I'm not gonna stiff arm him. I'm gonna bring it in, and you know, he obviously dealing with something. And he said, I wish my dad either thought like you or treated me the way you're describing how you treat your kids. It was something along those lines.
Beautiful.
And I was like, oh, okay, you know, I really didn't know what to say, you know, but he had at this point now a tear and fell, you know, and we kind of like standing there, and I'm like, you know, I'm encouraging him, you know, but just to be, I mean, we're like, it's like a Tuesday, you know, in the middle of the day. And to have a moment like that, like Drew said, it's not too many places you can have that type of moment, you know, and I still don't know what he was dealing with, but whatever it was, he felt some connection and some comfort in that setting to release whatever it was that he was dealing with.
That's amazing. Great, man. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Wow, good for you. Good for you. Were what he needed at that point. That place was what he needed at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Funniest barbershop story or craziest barbershop story? Anybody got one? Funny or crazy?
Dr. Marshall, before you do that, you have two hands. Drew's hand is up and Corey's hand is up.
I thought that was the clap hand. So
No.
that's right. Both Drew and Corey. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No worries.
You was first.
One thing that I would like to, Diya just kind of talked about it. And when you go into the barbershop, we've seen a lot of brothers come in there be angry and be upset. And a lot of times the barbers are able to calm them down for a minute. Because they got to calm down, because they're coming in, they're going to be sweating and stuff. And then, you know, that's going to cause a problem. Then everybody going to be late because, you know, that's putting everybody
in the chair moist.
That's an art right there, calming the brother down. Yes.
Yeah. So
open that back door.
Right. One of the things that I've seen is that what Diya was talking about is that they come in and they'll be able to get other people's opinion, because sometimes when we get mad, we only see one way, and that's our way. They have a way of, you know, when we sit down in the chair or whoever it is, and they start talking about it, and then the conversation comes out, you start getting other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you start getting other people's opinions, then you start opening up, like maybe I was wrong about something I did, or I didn't do something right. Somebody in the barbershop gonna tell him he was wrong for doing it. Whether you cheated on your girlfriend or cheated on your wife or whatever it was, you're gonna get a whole bunch of different opinions, but somebody's gonna tell you the truth. You shouldn't have been doing it. Nobody, you know, whether you're gonna get somebody, well, I would have cheated and I would have never told my wife. Or I would have, you know, if I cheat, I'm gonna tell my wife. But you shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. You're gonna get all those different type of opinions, but you're gonna get the one that really means something to you. You know, that's what's important. But also, you're gonna and being angry, you're gonna be able to release a lot of that energy when you actually vent. As black men, we don't get a lot of chance to vent. And we also use the barbershop as that vent place. As an example, you know, just that, you know, I had that. And my second thing that I was going to bring up was Craig and a couple of other barbers have done different events for me, cutting kids' hair, cutting kids' hair for back to school, and just cutting them throughout the year. And, you know, I deal with a lot of kids that don't have. And we've taken pictures before and after, and how they acted out before the haircut and how they smiling and have higher self-esteem after they get their haircut.
Yes, sir.
You can see the anger in their face, to where after they get their haircut, their self-esteem is way completely different. And that's a lot of us. That's self-care that a lot of our kids are not able to keep up with on their own, because they're not taught that. We have to teach kids about hygiene now at this point, because they don't know about it.
Yeah.
And a little bit of self-care, and that's the reason why us do it as men, because we learn how to, I need to go get myself cut. I need to feel good about myself. And that's the same things, reasons why women do it. Men may not do it as much as women do it, but we know we just need to get into that barbershop. But we've seen the effects of having kids' haircut. It makes a big difference with self-esteem. And that's not just kids, it's with adults.
Thank you. Michael?
Hey, hold on, Mike. I have my hand up, brother. I love you.
Okay, bro.
Corey was next.
I love you,
and
though,
then
Mike.
Michael.
I've been patient. I'm getting old, so I just jump in. All right. So I just want to say shout out to Katie. That's my barber, you know, Hollister. You know, barbers be acting like you're cheating on them or something. You don't say nothing about them, right? But I wanted to say, man, one thing is barbers are good readers, man. I know, like Craig, you know, Craig can tell when something wrong with somebody, man. It's just like this power that they have, man. So even if you're not talking, he'll check in with you or give you a call. That's just the type of person that Craig is, and other barbers. I speak about Craig because for one thing, he's my friend, but I've seen him in motion, and like it could be some kid or some young man from the neighborhood who might be a little special. You know, we got our brothers from the neighborhood. Craig got that kind of love, like got a little Russell. Craig shut everything down for Russell, give him a free haircut, everything, man. So barbers do that, man. They, you know, along with the mental health, man, they check in, man. It's been street wars, man, to where, you know, the barbers had to cut certain dudes from this block hair at this time and another block and try to counsel them and stop the whole thing. So the barbershop is just a big thing, man. Another thing with Craig, man, he feed people, right? Like I feed people now, but I learned that from Craig, man. Like Craig will really take his time out and feed the community, man, and whoever hungry, man. So it's a lot that barbers do around the community, around the USA, man. They give away clothes, you know what I mean? They do little clothes drives, food drives. They do everything they can for the community, man. Like people going to school right now, right? So right now you're seeing a lot of barbers giving free haircuts to young men who getting ready to go, young men and young ladies who getting ready to go to school next week. So it's a big old place, man. But I just want to shout out Craig a lot, man, and Diya, man. Them dudes are amazing, man, because they really go the extra mile, man. It's hard trying to explain everything that that barbers do, man. But that dude Craig, like, really care, man. And you know, we go at it sometimes. We talking about something funny, man. We cap till we can't. Like, you ain't gonna, man. We give you better have some tough skin, boy. Don't come in there saying nothing crazy, because we gonna give it to you. We capping on everything. I don't care if your little cousin bow-legged. We gonna get on his little bow-legged, little cross eye. You better watch out. Don't come in there with nothing. We getting on
it. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I was just about to say, Dr. Marshall, like how you kicked it off. I'm actually a fitness trainer, and my girlfriend is a bartender. So, so right, you can just understand the conversation that we both have, because we both have our therapeutic moments, and you know, we're not as deep as the barbershop, but we have a lot of moments where we hit a lot of personal things from people, and you know, and at the same token, we actually helping people build their self-esteem. Well, I am, as a trainer, you know, helping people build their self-esteem, you know, as helping them with their physical looks as well. So it is deep, and sometimes even us, you know, we need an outlet, and we need to go talk to people, you know, like the barbershop people, so we could, you know, digress and spit out all the stuff that we going through, because we need to release as well. So it's crazy, but yeah, look, we be having some conversations. Look, a bartender and a fitness trainer, the stuff she be telling me, I be like, whoa. So I could kind of relate with the barbers a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think those are the unofficial places. Girl, you want to say something as we go in?
Yeah.
Your funniest and your craziest barber story. I'd like to hear them all.
Yeah, I just have to say, you know, just to end that part, I always like to say that nobody truly understands a black man, but one that looks just like him. You know, black men just understand each other. That's basically, you know, what I've taken in a nutshell. Doesn't matter where you are, Milwaukee or all the way on the West Coast.
That's
you know,
true.
That's what you find in the barbershop, to where you can, you know, just talk to another black man, and the context of the conversation just makes sparks fly, because you have that full understanding, like, man, you really get it. But you can't have that same type of conversation with anybody else and feel the exact same way. So that's my only piece. It's cool to see the consistency as well.
Yeah, and you're right. You know, you're traveling for business or whatever, you go into a shop in New Orleans, hey, you home.
Same elements, same variable. So
absolutely,
that's cool. For me, just real quick on the crazy, you know, on the funny and crazy thing. Just being quick on my feet. I got my haircut and tattoos in the same spot. So I think I got a haircut and a tattoo in the same day in the same building. So by the same person. So that's one real quick without having to go through the archives.
Well, I got a fast one, because you know I got a bazillion, but this particular one, I got this client. He came every Saturday at 10 in the morning for maybe like 5-6 years, and this one particular morning he showed up at the shop like 7:45. I was already there early. And he was like, Craig, I need you to cut me. I need you to get me in and out. And I'm like, okay, you all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. I just didn't go home last night. I said, oh, yeah, okay. So I got him in. So at 9:55, 5 minutes before his regular appointment, his wife pulled up in front of the shop, and she looked in. She saw I was there. She zoomed around the corner and parked. She came back in with a belt in her hand. She said, Craig, where is he? I said, huh? I said, huh? She said, don't play stupid with me. Where is he? I said, I don't know. He ain't came in yet. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude got me lying. She in here with a belt, and I'm the only person in the shop. But that was just one off, you know, I could think of that was kind of funny. Yeah, she was gonna whoop his butt.
So, well, you got to tell us what happened, man. You can't leave us hanging there. Did she find him? Did she catch him?
Yeah,
did you leave?
he came back 2 weeks later. I guess he healed up. You know, he was a little short dude, so I think she took advantage of it. But yeah, that was one for the books.
That's a story. That's
Yeah.
a story.
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, I don't know if anybody. I was gonna say, is there any drama? That's drama. That could count as crazy and drama.
Yeah, I was trying to save the dramas.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think he wanted to give y'all the real. He trying to give y'all the PG-13 version of the stories. Everything you could think of happens in the shop.
That's what I'm asking.
Hey, I seen.
I don't know what kind of audience it is though, so I don't know how.
Hey, hold on.
Long
Hey,
y'all don't cuss. Say the N-word. You can say everything.
I seen a dude mess a kid head up, right? And the mama, man, she was looking at that boy all kind of ways, man. And she actually blamed the wrong barber, man. I had to say the barber, man, but dude still wanted his money though, man. I'm like, man, you messed the old boy up, man. You need to go and give him 2 more free haircuts, man.
I think the craziest thing, and this is actually, it's the craziest thing I've seen, and it's probably ironically the most respectful thing I've seen. I was cutting. This was my first shop I opened up. I was over on Silver, and we're in there cutting. The doors closed. It's just a regular, all the chairs, you know, barbers are cutting, and I'm in the back of the shop. You know, I kind of got to look at view of everybody. You know, making sure everything is on point. A brother opened the door, and as soon as he opened the door, the first chair, the barber that was cutting, it was the brother in the chair getting cut. The brother opened the door, walked in, and he put up his hand. He said, "Excuse us," right? Just like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He grabbed the guy that was getting cut in the first seat, like yoked him up. And he like, what's this, right? Another guy came in after him. He had his knockout gloves on. He was standing there. And, you know, I don't know if he had pistol or whatever on him, but he was like, kind of like standing in guard. Like, okay, if anybody jump, you know, you can get it too. And we, you know, I got my guy, I could tell he was fumbling under the seat, the guy I was cutting. And I asked him later, he was like, man, I was taking my rings off. So, but anyway, the guy, the guy, he snatched him up out the chair. He still got the smock, the drape on, getting a haircut. They took him out. My guy that was cutting him, he's standing there stuck, like, what do I do now? You know, they left, and you could hear him getting roughed up outside a little bit, because it was kind of like tussling. They took him wherever they were supposed to be going, and that dude is still wherever he at with that drape on, because he never came back. And that was the end of the day for him. It was a wrap, you know. So that's why I said that was probably the craziest, and because he was respectful. The guy came in, he said, "Excuse us," you know. He didn't bother nobody else in the shop. He just snatched the guy he was looking for and took him where he needed to be. And then the second one, Craig, I remember this one. Normally I wouldn't say the name, but I'm gonna say the name for effect, because I don't know if y'all know this name or not. It was funny. So we what was it, a Saturday or something? We was in there cutting. Craig, was a Saturday. It was a busy day. Craig ain't said nothing to nobody. He got the call, blah, blah, blah. It's coming to get a haircut. We ain't, you know, regular barbershop. We done dealt with famous people. We done dealt with, you name it, right? So it's no star-studded, nothing. We not tripping, right? Again, people just in here cutting, minding their business. The brother opens the door, and I'm holding my phone, so I can't properly demonstrate it to y'all. But the brother opens the door. He stands in the doorway with the door open like this, with his hands up. He said, "Here I am. I'm here. It's Tim McKay." And we like, who? Right? But he's so feeling himself. Like, yeah, this is everybody gonna know who I am. Right? And we still trying to figure it out. Like you Guy McIntyre? Or is it who? What you? Oh yeah, you played corner, right? But he going, and he talking about I'm the best corner that ever played. Dion ain't got nothing on me. I taught him how to play the position. He going on, and us as real 49er fans, we like, I remember you was good, but I don't know. And then to top it all off, he walked in with a
Denver Broncos Super Bowl ring on.
Right, a Denver Broncos Super Bowl ring. Right, so we like, oh man, what happened to the Niner one? This Niner territory right here, we bang bang up in here, right? but it was just funny because it's like Corey said, if you come in with any type of capable energy, you gonna get it.
Yeah, I asked him, did he pawn it? I said, where the 49 Super Bowl ring at? Did you pawn it?
Right, because truth be told, he came in kind of on one. I don't know what he did before he came in the door, but whatever he did, it made him feel good. Right, so it was fun. I know he had a good time. Because he was on top of the world. But it was just we still laughing about that. And that was a couple years ago.
Wow.
We still laughing about that.
That's why I say it's the craziest place for me. You never knew something like that could happen at any time, At any time. Corey, you had a great vignette about, and this sort of leads us into the creation of the good life. You had a great vignette about when you were dealing with I think you said you were dealing with the brothers on the turf, and I think you brought did you bring your brothers from the barbershop over there or something like that? Am I correct about that, or it was something that you told me about, or bringing the guys to the barbershop, or what was that, or am I just missing that?
No, I was just saying how, like, when it's turf issues with the barbershop, the barbers have to shut down the shop certain times to let certain blocks in, like certain turfs, so it won't be no drama. Then cut the other people later because of the the turf issues that's happening in the neighborhood from then until now.
Is the barbershop on the wane? It's been such an institution, other than and the church is on the wane. Let me just say that. I think we all kind of know that. The beauty salons, I'll ask the ladies later on another show. But is it? Are there fewer of them? Is there just your thoughts on that? What do you guys see? What do you see?
You talking about the barbershop being a safe space?
No, I mean fewer barbershops. Is it fewer businesses? That's what I mean.
Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely fewer. It's not many barbershops like ours, that exists in the city, because everything is mainstream now. You know what I mean? It's everything is fast, and when I say a barbershop like ours, we still got community folks. 20, 30 years. It's not too many online booksy appointments. People can just find us online and come in. You can, but we cater more to the people that we've been grew up around, cutting grandparents, grandkids, and everything in between.
Yeah, because men ain't gone nowhere and hair is still growing. So I'm just
every day, right?
I will say this on 3rd Street though, like it's less barbershops. Like it's like only 2 I know of. When I was young, man, you could count up to about 8 barbershops in Hunters Point. And now it's just down to like two of them, man. That's real sad. You know, it's just a
Well, I
testament
think that
to gentrification.
yeah,
Gentrification
exactly.
that's happening in our communities.
Harry,
Yeah.
you're back in Milwaukee. Do you have any idea? I mean, gentrification seems to be going anywhere. There are Black people. So,
Absolutely. No, it's definitely gentrification happening here. As far as barbershops are concerned, I would say they declined a tad bit. Yeah, definitely declined a tad bit, but there are still a nice amount, a good handful that you can go and have that same experience. So,
you know what?
that's about it.
As I look at the landscape of this, like the city, and I'm gonna include like Daly City and whatever neighboring cities it is, I actually think it's more barbers and more barbershops. They just don't look like me.
yeah.
Well, I'm in Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in
There are a
Oakland.
lot of younger shops, like
Yeah.
younger guys. I would
Yeah.
say it's not really a lot of OGs cutting no more.
Nah. That's why, that's what Craig was talking about. It's not a lot of shops like ours per se, but that's the interesting dynamic of our shop, because we got what, about 4 or 5 guys in there that have all at one point had their own shop, you know, with barbers in it. So the dynamic that we have is a different dynamic. You know, we all chip in and do whatever we need to do to keep the shop running. We don't have to wait for no, you know, shop manager or the owner to say, do this or do that. You know, everybody has experience doing that. So we all chip in and do whatever is necessary. Whereas the demographic of the city is shops popping up all over the place. It's just a different group of people that have taken
when you
over
say
that,
don't look like you,
game.
mean they're not Black or they're younger or what? When you say they don't look like
you got younger folks. You got specifically in the city. We got a lot of Asian barbers, Latin barbers, that have taken over in the last 15, 20 years in the city. Yeah. Whereas in the 90s, you like you said, you would have a few shops on 3rd, the Visadero, you know, Lakeview, all this, you know, everybody, there would be plenty of shops in those places. Now it's not many.
I think go ahead. I think this sort of reflects everything. I mean, you see, you know, hair care places that are selling Black hair products that are owned by Asians. You know, you see soul food places that are being Blacks ain't doing the cooking, right? But I guess what I'm really this rich experience that you have been talking about does that go away in this new? How can we retain that? Is that just?
It's
over.
I'm not sure. It's over if it's not us. I mean, yeah, they can have the talent and the skill to give a good haircut, but the culture and the energy that we bring, because we actually stem from that. We might be the last generation that come from the 70s and the 80s and can explain it thoroughly. You know what I mean? So I don't think that can be recreated.
Yeah.
I ain't mad. I mean, with the white dudes come in there, Chad come get a haircut and get a Black barber $100, man. The Black barber be happy as hell. He ready to kick us out the damn barber. Hold on, Chad. Hey, Chad, hold on.
I don't know where he at.
Hey, Dr. Marshall,
coming in Hunter's Point.
I just think that a lot of people may or may not know this, but you know, companies like Booksy, my company Crispy, there's a whole wave of technology coming to the industry, coming to make things faster and quicker, and set data sets and machine learning to this industry. So this industry could possibly look different 5 to 10 years from now, where the younger people are wanting things a lot faster and they want it yesterday, like kind of what, you know, Amazon, where you can just
right. And the Black bookstore, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of big dollars and a lot of tech money that is coming to this industry, and they're bringing a lot of technology, it could look different in the next, 5 to 10 years.
And looking different is one thing, but losing this is my concern. That's all. That's one, right?
I was gonna say the only way that aspect of things is kind of retained is that older people still need their haircut. So the OGs sitting in the chair, they still sitting in the chair to get a haircut, but there's not a lot of them doing the cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that aspect of things still, comes into, like Craig always says, the gumbo of things, it still adds to it.
I agree. I don't know if the actual, sorry to, not to cut you off, Dr. Marshall, but the app, like you mentioned, Booksy, and I see you got your brand in there, Crispy. I'm gonna have to check that out. Once you're in the shop though, all bets are off.
Yeah.
However you get there,
that's
one thing. But once you're in there,
good point.
You're in there, and it's not gonna be a quick microwave type of environment, and you're gonna yearn for that, and that feeling and that environment, right? And if you're bringing, I got kids, I'm gonna bring my kids, and they're gonna see how I move and how Craig talked to me, and the enrichment I get once I'm in there. I don't see that changing, and I hope it doesn't change, for the enrichment of the community. And I've tried the app thing, and it gets kind of tangled. I'm old school. It might work for the newer, younger barbers, but I'm old school, and I know who gonna show up on time and who not gonna show up on time, and how long his haircut gonna take, and all those little intricate details factor into who can be placed into these slots, whether it's a 30-minute slot, hour slot, 45-minute slot, 15-minute slot. I might be able to get these 2 quick ones in before this next one come in, and those are the type of things that kind of turn me away from the app thing. And it might have been just me rebelling against technology and wanting to keep the analog version of what we have. But I really do hope that don't go away.
Yeah, I understand that, because there's a lot of benefits to technology. Our speaker faster, stronger, right? But it doesn't necessarily take the good things with it also, the richness, all of that stuff. And so I can understand that. I mean, KRS once said, technology don't necessarily make civilization. So, you should be concerned. And because everything we talked about here is precious, it's good, and you want to keep that under any conditions. Let's introduce the folks to this platform that Harry and Craig have created. And Shannette, I think you've been waiting for a long time. I think you're part of it. The Good Life, which Craig pulled me into, and I think we want to take the barbershop conversation thing to technology, if I can use that phrase. And why don't you guys talk about how you came up with the concept, what the intent is, and how you do it. And go ahead.
Let me give the first lady her props. She provided the platform. She was originally working with UC Davis, and they created TGL, The Good Life, and she's actually put together a lot of programs through that. And she reached out to me, and she had an idea of doing the barbershop on the Zoom. And through maybe about 3 or 4 months of negotiation and talking and planning, we was able to start in April. And she's watching her baby grow right now. So I just want to actually thank her for that, because without that, we wouldn't be here today.
That's true.
It was an idea, but the idea came to fruition once she opened the door. So one love to her.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So my name is Shannette Merrick, and my background is in research, actually. I'll just give a quick background of how TGL got started. Worked with UC Davis to supervise clinical research studies for healthy aging. And we went into the pandemic, into quarantine, and I convinced my boss, Dr. Johnson, shout out to Dr. Johnson, that we could actually take what he created, which was a study to prove that a healthy change in lifestyle, exercise, and nutrition would stop the onset of dementia and diabetes. And so I had this vision that we can do this on Zoom because, of course, we're doing a lot of things online. We started out with our exercise program, which my amazing fitness instructor, Michael Tapman Jr., he is a junior because his dad is also a fitness instructor. He comes from a long line of fitness instructors. And Michael was my first instructor with our fitness and aerobics class. I teach the nutrition class. The one thing I noticed as we started developing this programming, because we went from like 7 to 10 participants to like 50 to 80, we grew really big during the pandemic, and we started to see that there was a need for it. I realized that we had a lot of women, African-American women, and like the men would kind of like, they would like tap in for a little bit and they would leave. And like, I was like, why won't they stay? But I figured maybe they were uncomfortable because they'll come into a session. There was like 50 Black women working out. And I think they just didn't feel comfortable. So I started thinking about like, well, what's the safe space? Like we have to create a safe space because as we do things to keep ourselves healthy and mentally sound, we want our men to stay healthy. We want our men to grow old with us. And so what can I do to create a space for them? And I started thinking about like, well, what's the safest space that I know of as a Black woman is the barbershop. Craig and I are actually related. That's my cousin. I've known him all my life. So I've known of his experience with the Omega's Boys Club when we were teenagers and with you, Dr. Marshall. So which is, just a blessing. But I know that Craig and his experience as a 30-year barber and the importance of his role in the community. So he was the first person that I thought of to reach out to when I wanted to create this space for Black men, which was to recreate the barbershop environment so they can have a safe space to talk. And so reached out to Craig. Eventually, I met Mr. Harry Evans with Heal Black Man. We found each other online and brought him in and then put them two together, and they're making magic. And it's beautiful to see.
So what is your vision, Craig and Harry, for the good life? I'm in it, so I kind of know, but what is your guys' vision for it?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I would say that, well, the reason I'm here is because our missions are the same. So I started my own platform or a nonprofit organization called Heal Black Man with the mission to break down the barriers of Black men just being human, and being vulnerable and being comfortable expressing their feelings. I introduce healthy coping mechanisms. So here in the city, I have like roundtable discussions and yoga classes taught by Black men, and all Black men attend. And we just have dialogue and do that type of stuff all the time. So that, I think that had a lot of similarities into which what brought Shannette and TGL and all of us together. And I think that's the same. We're just making it a cross-generational thing at this point. So just, not just zeroing in on healthy aging, but actually looking at healthy aging as something that starts earlier on, which makes it a wider umbrella to where you have to cater to all Black men to be able to, kind of, I guess, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. But I think it's more than two birds, if that makes sense.
Well, my overall vision is just to get brothers to open up, empty out those little boxes on the inside. I have extensive experience with dudes sitting down full of so much negative baggage, just a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of lies, a lot of misinformation. You know what I mean? And I won't say I'm one of the smartest dudes, but I think me and my fellow barbers in many other shops, we have a bigger sense of knowledge on certain things of life because we have, out here, experiencing people personally, all of them damaged. We all have PTSD. We all have all these alphabets that they say that have us messed up. ADD. We need IEPs. All this stuff. You know what I mean? I deal with these folks and myself. I'm part of these people, and we all need help. You know what I mean? We need therapy. We need to digress. We need to unwind the softball of BS that's in. We need to unlearn and relearn. And this has been something that I've been wanting to do. I've tried several things, to try to figure out how we can come together and just communicate as men, being able to trust each other, and not know that if I give you something, a piece of me, that later on you're not going to throw it back in my face and try to embarrass me, or one up me. You know what I mean? It's hard for men to trust. And one place I know
Absolutely.
is they come to the barbershop and they trust me and they trust my judgment. They trust the people that I'm around, that even when I'm not around, they can still be trusting to those folks. You know what I mean? So, and I think Dr. Marshall used the word a few weeks ago that kind of threw me off, but she was like, hey, you're ministering, right? And I never thought of it like that, but I do know any place I'm most comfortable is behind my barber chair. So maybe all this time, that's my pulpit, and that's where I give the most love. That's where I receive the most love. And that's just what it is for me. And, I think if we could keep this platform and grow it, it's no ceiling, you know what I mean? Because, just from the reaction we getting from the dudes who get on and participate, it's kind of overwhelming. People hit me like, man, Blood, I love that. And man, what's going on next week? And, and they really be excited about it because they want to talk. Dudes want to talk.
Right. Let me just say, I'm on that. But the one comment I love here is that I needed this today.
Yeah.
Every week I hear somebody say, I needed this today.
Right.
And that really fuels my fire. That keeps it burning because that's a reminder that the purpose is being fulfilled. The mission is working. You know what I'm saying? To hear people say that, like, man, I really needed this. I love you all for doing what you're doing. That's all the reassurance I need on a weekly basis to keep grinding.
Right.
I think what you do is you come up with a topic, you throw it out, and we chop it up for. And if I'm in, pretty much we chop it up and we go back and forth. We got some powerful personalities on there.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you
like
talk about those doors.
It's like
so
being in the barbershop. One thing about the barbershop, everybody got something to say, right? And they get a chance to say it. But then other brothers sit back and listen and reflect. It's really, we're creative people, period, right? And we're always looking for ways. Look, Live Free Omega Boys Club is a creative thing. We made this up, right? So this is another way that you've come up with for us to help us. And it's just, we have a saying, the more you know, the more you owe. That's the motto of the club. As you go on progress in life, you must help others to do likewise. And as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly what you're doing,
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I will say, as heated, and I don't think the conversation gets heated, as animated. Is that a good word? As the conversation.
Animated, yeah.
I would say it's passion filled.
Passionate, everybody is pretty considerate, everybody's and it's just like being in a barbershop. That's the first thing that's what I keep saying. It's just like being in a barbershop. And Craig, you the barber, you in fact, your chair now is the microphone.
Right.
Yep. And those topics are the doors that we speak of that, that Black men internalize. They hold things within. And so we sit and we brainstorm on a weekly basis, and we just make a running list of things that Black men just need to address, that we need to talk about. And if it means that we have to hold hands and talk about it together, then it works. And it does. I've noticed significant growth just in the group of consistent people who show up, or people who don't. You got people who show up like that's only showed up twice, and they're still
it's
like
church. Some
this
people
is
go to
what I
church every
needed.
week. Some people go to church, on Christmas, but the church is there if they
What
want.
we provide is consistency, just as consistent as the church.
That's Jack's favorite word, being consistent. Is being consistent. I will also say, I think the larger thing here is, and maybe we haven't even thought about it, is the connections you make. I would have, never met you, Harry, right? I would have never met the people that I meet on the air. And so the connections to me are great because, we all got the same stuff, right?
Man, how many people got a chance to see you for the first time? You know what I mean? Heard about you, and you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
I know.
And I'm just learning. About Dr. Marshall. I'm reading the book. I got a chance to read a chapter, and once again, none of this would be happening if it wasn't for Miss Merrick. So
well, thank you. So I remember the one session. Thank you so much. So I've only been allowed on the one session because it's pretty much closed door just for men. So there's no women. So even though I produce it, I'm not allowed in the sessions. But the one session that I was allowed on, I went in there and I was like, is that Dr. Marshall in the corner? I was super excited. I was so excited, and so honored that you actually were involved, or you were showing up and participating in the barbershop talk. It meant a lot to all of us that you show up, because we all are just in awe of the work that you've done for the community in the Bay Area and throughout. So thank you so much. And you're absolutely correct. It's like the connections, right? The internet, and the one thing that the pandemic did for us, because like you said, we are very creative. We will come up with some ways to keep things going and make it up. Yeah. And this idea of TGL was born through what was supposed to destroy us actually turned into something really beautiful. I met Harry, created this program, reached out to Craig, pulled Craig in, pulled in Michael, and now we're connecting with all of you all. I've even met Drew, and I know Diya from the Barbershop, and hello to all of you all, Derek and Malcolm and Lady E. And it's just been an amazing experience to be able to share this common goal of healing. That's really my purpose of being able to connect with all the community healers and pull everybody in, and we all just really network together and uplift each other, right? Because reciprocity is really important, that we hold each other accountable and that we're uplifting each other so that we can do the work that is needed in our community. So we have a very unique opportunity right now, right here in this day, to do the work that's needed to be done.
And it's solely up to us. It's solely up to us to do the work.
And it's not about, it's I guess I'm really proud of, because famous names are famous names. The people have to do the work. The people have to do the work. The people have to do the work. And Corey and I talk about this all the time. What John Henry has done with the, his both sides of the conversation, the people have to do the work. And that's the greatest thing for me. Everything emanates from the people. And it's just wonderful to see. It's just wonderful. And with all the, here's what we're going against. We're going against the news cycle. We're going against the music videos. We're going against the, none of that
Instagram.
Stuff, he ain't got a damn thing to do with who we really are, right? None of it, right? And so for us to be authentic in these sites and to help each other, it's just a beautiful thing. And to me, this is the only way it's going to happen. It ain't going to come from on high. And the politicians sure ain't got nothing to do with it. The cavalry ain't coming. But for brothers to step out and help each other is just a wonderful thing, man. And it resonates. Just two things that have happened very quickly. Craig, you brought on Dr. Janelle and I forget the other lady talk about health, and you know, I ain't had no red meat for 3 weeks.
Right.
Now, I slipped a little bit because I had the barbecue last week, but it's in my mind, right? And just that form, you know, is a wonderful thing. And then last week, you know, talking to Dion Otis about a young man he's working with, and we exchange numbers, and we gonna help each other. It's just great. But this all because we spent a little time talking and conversating with each other, just like we would in the barbershop. So you've extended that platform, and keep it up. And Harry, I want to hear more about all the other stuff you're doing, because you and I know this. Milwaukee is the same as LA, is the same as Chicago, is the same as New York, is the same. It's all the same.
Absolutely.
All the
And
same.
for people who out there who don't know, there are Black people in Wisconsin. Milwaukee is, yeah.
Oh, we know. We know that while that police stuff happened.
Hey, Doc,
Yeah.
I want to say this, like, with all the work being done, like with Craig and especially Drew, man, like Drew out there every day, man, working in it's real, man. Drew really out there, man. Craig and got YCD, man, so much going on, but he's really Drew out there on the ground every day, man, every day working with the young brothers, man. And we have all these powerful groups, but we got to find a way to get them involved, man, because you're talking about some anger, man. Our young brothers got some serious anger, man, and fear and pain, and our sisters, man. So we got to try to find a way to get it out there. But, you know, Drew out there on the battlegrounds, man. Craig, little son, working, you know, I done been to the Sunnydale area. That ain't even my area, though, like that. But I go over there because of Drew and Craig, Dre Beasley, man. But they really doing the work, man. A lot of stuff been happening in Sunnydale lately, man. So just giving them a shout out, man, because it's hard being on that ground doing that work, man, on a day-to-day basis, man, and taking chances with his life and everything, but he's willing to do it to help people, man. So, you know, Drew and Craig go hand in hand, man. They like brothers, man. Shaman and Drew, they think of Steve's now, man, but they really out there doing the work, man, for real.
Man, we see these little kids every day. You know what I mean? I done gave little kids their first haircut and their last haircut. You know what I mean? We see it. You know, they done got right out the chair when got hit up, got killed. Or killed somebody and came and hid in the barbershop and got a haircut and didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? We deal with them dudes, man, that's really mentally messed up and want to get better. We deal with the old ones that's our age. You know what I mean? That stuff haunt them. You know what I mean? Or they still living from their kids getting killed. You know what I mean? Just a lot of hurt, a lot of pain that's untouched. You know what I mean? We touch them dudes physically. You know what I mean? We spend time with them dudes physically and mentally. You know what I mean? Things that a lot of people only see on TV. You know what I mean? So, so a lot of times the doctor need a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because, I can't bring all this stuff home to my family. I can't come in and talk about how my first client, you know what I mean, sat down and gave me a BS conversation just to get up out of my chair and say, oh, I'm gonna bring you the money back after I done gave you 45 minutes of my time, you know what I mean, my energy and my spirit, and now I ain't got no money for it. You know what I mean? It's so many things, man, that we deal with in the barbershop that, if you're not strong and you're not about the people, it can break you. For real, it can break.
That's a good point, Greg. That's why we have to take care of each other.
Yeah,
we have to take care of each other. I mean,
and
they got the
get
problem.
them
That's why we got it. We got it. So we call each other, we talk to each other, we support each other, we look out for each other without judgment. And that's the thing I like. You got to do all of this work. I never judge you. I never judge. None of y'all that came to see me and Jack. But you got to do, and you can't judge people, but you can extend your hand, and I just think it's wonderful. And I want to thank all of you. We actually went over time, but that's good. That's a good thing.
Right.
Shannette, got to say, really, thank you for just putting your talents together to make this happen. All the brothers on the call, man, just
thank you.
keep being you, man. Keep doing what you do. You know, I call it the Harriet Tubman mentality. If you want things to change, change begins with you. She went by herself. She went by herself. She didn't without an AK, without a posse, and you know, started slavery. You know, we can run. Oh yeah, you can actually run.
We running, we going.
That's
how I feel sometimes. It's not easy work and it's not pretty, but I appreciate the love.
It's done out of love.
Yeah, absolutely done out of love. Because trust me, it's a lot of work. But I want to thank Craig and Harry and Michael. Michael is amazing. He's been holding me down since the beginning. He's one of my day ones. But hey, Carrie and Craig, thank you all so much for making the program, for really taking the vision and making it into a reality and doing such a great job. So I appreciate you guys. And thank you, Dr. Marshall, for the invitation, for inviting us here. I really appreciate it.
Hey, the more you know, the more you owe.
Dr. Marshall.
Yes.
Shannette is being, you know, she being modest right now. Like, she empowers a whole lot of us. Like, she makes sure, like she said, we in research right now, and it's hard getting Black people in research. She pulling people out the cuts. You just see me, Harry, and Craig. The rest of our team, we got a lot of us there, you know. So she do an excellent job of pulling everybody in and empowering us, letting us be creative, letting us be ourselves, with understanding her goals. So shouts out to you, Shannette. You know, she want to give everybody else the shouts out, but she the one who runs it.
You know what, Michael? She didn't walk into the barber to say, "You see who I am?"
Right.
She's just doing the work. Right. Down, but here's what she wanted me to do. She typed out her closing comments, and I can't say it in her voice. Usually we call consider this, but she says, "What a gift and a blessing each of you are to have created a safe space where people can come together, not only to be lined up and beautified, but also to be seen, heard, cared about, and taken care of. What a blessing." That's some lady of self. So yeah, we're all blessed. Let's keep blessing each other. Let's keep doing the work. We'll get together and do it soon. You know, we family. We're all not related, but we all family. So thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Doc.
Let Harry go to sleep. Midnight back
here. Night, Harry.
All right, good night, you guys.
I'm trying to see what else Jack and Joe did.
We're on the Zoom on Wednesday, Craig and Jerry.
Thanks,
Jerry. And we're going to get it out to everybody else on here, too, so they can jump on.
Hey,
love.